Last week it seemed like we're gonna rip forever. This week we get rejected from a support and resistance level. Altcoins are bleeding out. What this means for the market and how to handle such situations, all of this in today's video. Let's go. So welcome back to another video. I took the bank holiday off yesterday and I hope you had a great weekend as well. We're looking at the BTC chart and we're getting rejected from this support and resistance level. We could also call it opposite pole, whatever you want to call it. We got rejected heavily, and on the weekly we did not close above those previous highs, which is not a sign of strength, and we need to consider this in our analysis. Bias free, it's not about what we want, it's about what the market is telling us, and this is not a strong sign on the weekly. We have higher highs and higher lows on the daily time frame, so it's also not a reason to stick your head into the sand, simply because we could also just react from this demand again and go higher from here. So stay bias free, take it level by level. If you want to get long crypto, it's now. It was not last week at this high here. It's after those pullbacks. You can try to get your foot into the door, but in general we could also just reject here and continue the higher time frame trend down and further down. So stay bias free, stay flexible. You can also look at ETH. ETH has not even managed to take this high out yet. I still think there's a good chance that we do. And I also think there's a good chance that we're still going to take 100k on BTC, simply because it's the psychological level. Many people are going to get bullish once it's broken, even though looking at the chart, it doesn't mean anything because supply is here and here. And so I think there's still a good chance that we take it, but now we reject. And if we're not able to take out this high, if we're not able to defend this level here, we are starting to create lower lows on the daily. And should this break down, we can still look for this one. But after this is broken, the next logical level is taking this for a potential swing failure pattern or even way lower. So stay flexible, don't FOMO into anything here without a proper plan. If you look at ETH, for example, as said, we have not even taken this high out. We are technically, like, very locally, we make higher highs, but if you look at the weekly, it's definitely a downtrend, and the only thing we did so far is to go back to the support and resistance level from the downside, and not anything of significance. We also have not so many reasons for ETH to go up here, but if we do, we want to be ready, and we want to be ready both sides, right? So that's why I'm always relaxed, and I said to you in the beginning how to handle those situations. And a very good way is, first of all, to acquire mental strength, discipline, clarity, all of those things, meditation, cold showers, all of those things. You know, I talk about those things a lot. I wrote about those things a lot, and they help me to gain control over my thoughts. So don't be the play ball for market makers. Try to be in control. Try to be aware, awake, and intentional with everything you do. So have a plan. Don't get played by market makers. Look at the structure for what it is, and also try to prepare for several outcomes. Don't just go long randomly because you think, oh yeah, it's going higher, and you take like 5 longs, and when everything starts collapsing again. I mean, if you look at altcoins, at Doge, for example, we pumped 35%, but we already back to retrace the full move. This is the reason why I took a TP up here and why I put my stop loss to break even. And this trade got stopped at break even after TP1. It's not like that this one trade is going to make me rich, but I accumulate small and fine profits. TP 22% here, and now break even, no risk anymore, made some money. The question is, do I want to re-enter? I could, but I will probably not, because I'm still long Circle and I'm still long MicroStrategy. Both are MicroStrategy looking a bit better here, and both are adding crypto long exposure, and I always think in that way. So I have several crypto longs already. Why would I add any more? Why would I add more risk? I try to keep it balanced with my short. And this is a very good approach, because you see the Doge long made me some money while I paid some unrealized gains back for the short. And now it's coming back. The Doge DP played out quite nice. Now the position is gone. I made some money, and the short is going to be in higher unrealized profits again. And this balance makes it very easy for me to handle these things mentally, because it doesn't really matter to me what happens. I try to prepare for every outcome. I don't try to predict. There's also no reason for me to pretend that I know for certain what's going to happen next. I can trade probabilities, make consistent money with that, and I don't need to prove anything, right? So yeah, good approach to handle your mental game. Let's have a little look at tether dominance first. And if you look at tether dominance, we have still not broken this to the downside. We talked about this trend line and that it's maybe an early signal we got here. It broke down, and we look at USDC real quick after that as well. But on the weekly, we haven't really broken anything, but we started creating lower lows on the daily. So we have closed the full body below those lows here. So it's technically low lows and now still lower highs. The question now is, what are we going to do from here? Are we getting rejected here and continue the trend? Or are we going to take this high, go for this, and then getting rejected? Or are we simply going higher? Because all of those three things, and obviously many other like varieties of that, like going sideways for a while and blah and this and that, but I just want to mark out the most important levels of this little local range. And this is the supply here, like this area. You see, we got the sell-off from here, and we have this supply here. So we can expect a rejection from here, and then also again a rejection from there, or a continuation of the trend, or a rejection from here, or we just blast it. So those are basically the three main options. And either way, as said, I'm prepared, and so should you. And if there was a time to look for crypto longs, it's now. When this is going higher, when we take those levels, it's not like when we sell off aggressively. You don't want to go long here, even though many people probably did, simply because it feels better to do that. Now everything looks scary again, and you think like, oh my God, should I really? And as said, if you looked at Doge the last weeks and you said like, oh damn, I should have bought some Doge. Now is the time, right? It was not once we pumped here aggressive. It's now taking this demand again, being back in the level on high volume. So there is definitely a case to be made to take the Doge long here, but I'm gonna see how the first 1 or 2 days of this week develop, probably having a look today, and then I will decide if I want to add back some of those gains. But I'm not very pressured to do that. As said, I have my longs, I try to keep the balance. And also now we have decision time. Are we going to reject? And I can say, okay, this is a rejection I want to enter, or we go higher to this and then want to enter here, or we just simply blast it. And best case, I didn't enter another long here. I just take like losses for those I had, or paying back those unrealized gains. And on USDC, the picture is a little bit different because we broke this level way earlier and we created another low after that on the daily. And so structure is more broken. Also look at this candle. I mean, it's a big absorption wick. So let's have a look at volume. You see how the volume is bigger than the previous candles. We have more effort, less result, volume spread analysis, you remember? And so we have this big wick at the lows. This could mean we go for the range high. This could mean we go even higher. And again, we have a similar situation because this is our current like structural high. And should we take this out and create another like local higher high and higher low, the picture isn't as clear anymore. And should we do that, it's very wise to expect that we probably take something of this here, and then we can expect a continuation, or we simply take a stop loss then. So actually USDC is showing a picture that's a little more precise or a little more clear. And that's why we look at different charts at different time frames to get the best and the most clear picture to like filter out the noise. And this is another thing I see people do. They're not removing complexity, they're adding complexity by looking at 200 different time frames on 50 different charts, and their mind is completely overwhelmed because it's, first of all, it's for everybody, it's hard to comprehend, and especially if you're a beginner, you should keep it simple, right? Don't overcomplicate things. That's also why we look today only at those two, because those are telling the real picture with BTC and with ETH. And As said, we can just mirror these levels more or less because we are at the structural high here and the structural high here, and we are at the structural low at BTC, you see? And together, looking at all three and maybe ETH and at ETH locally here, we are at this demand, and should we lose it, should we lose this low, we create lower lows. Same on BTC, and if we like flip it to those dominance charts, we create high highs, which is then bearish market structure for the rest of the market. Also, BVol, no, wrong one, but we can also look at this. As said, I don't want to add too much complexity, but in general, we are back at this support level. And usually that's the time when something changes in the market. And I'm not saying this means it goes up or it goes down, but every time we hit demand or we hit supply on this, there is a flip in the script. And we hit it in September and we increased here into, technically this is also supply, right? But the major ones are like in this big range here. And we rejected, and now we are back. So look at like October, September, late September and October. And this was here, right? So this was our first switch in the script. We were at an all-time high, at a major high now looking back. And ever since then, we went up on this chart, and now we are back here in January. We're back here. And technically since here, we just went down. And so this could mean that the market is switching the script from this little range, because I would consider this more sideways, especially looking at the weekly, than anything else. So not a lot of things happened, right? If you look at this, it's pretty much, look at the bodies, a 8% range. And from here on, maybe the script will be switched and we go higher and we finally take those levels which we are waiting for, or we continue to the downside. So again, no certainty, but this means we should be aware that something of importance is going to happen over the next few days or weeks. And it's very different to the BVol 24, because the BVol 24 is just telling us when to expect volatility. And every time we hit this green box, we can expect a volatile day and expansion in either direction. And so this is also nice if you're a trader to know if this day is important, volatile, or if it's not. Because if we're up here, we had a very volatile period, and then volatility is decreasing and it's slowly getting like slower, and there's time maybe for you to do something else and to spend time with the family and all those things. I think we have very clear structural levels and a very clear market structure to trade around. And if you look for positions, for long positions in crypto, you should look after a very red period, right? Not when it's easy, not when everything's up here and you think like, yeah, it's finally on and I buy Doge here and I get another 100% on my position or whatever. No, it's after those big corrections, when it's scary, when it's when you're fearful, when you don't want to buy, when you don't want to hit the button. That's usually the best time to buy. That said, guys, I wish everybody a great week ahead. Take care.